Hello, friends. Okay, so now we're going to do what I think is probably the most complicated part of this entire lab, and that is doing the nuts and bolts calculation of the Shannon-Wiener diversity index, which, by the way, I went and grabbed an image of the equation. So we're calculating this, and it's the negative of the sum of, in parentheses, these two things multiplied by each other, pi times ln pi. What is pi? It's not 3.1415, etc. It is instead the proportion of each species in each plot. So what we're going to have to do, I'll try to explain what pi is again. For each plot, for instance, let's go to this one right here, E. I hope you can see it, and we'll make it bigger for you. Okay, so in this plot, well, I'll go to a plot that's got more than one. All right, hope you can see. Here in plot 27, we've got several different species. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 different species. And so for each species, we're going to calculate the proportion that 15.5 is of the total amount of plants, of the total amount of cover in that transect. Okay. Once we have pi, everything else is fairly trivial. The strategy here is we will first calculate pi for each square in the data set. Then we will calculate the natural logarithm, ln pi, of each square in the data set. Then we will multiply, have another cell that is the product of pi for a species times its natural logarithm. So that's like 3 steps so far. And then in the end, we're going to sum them all up for each quadrat and negate it. Okay, so that's the mathematical strategy. We're going to do an iterative process. First this, then the product, then the sum. And here's how we're going to do it. So I actually don't need this anymore, so I'm going to tuck it down. Okie doke. So what your instructions say, I'll just foreshadow, I don't like the instructions. I don't like this part, the way your directions for this lab tell you how to do it. It will work. It just, I think it's a more tedious way of doing it than the way I'm going to do it. But it doesn't really matter which way you do. The first part, the calculation of pi and ln pi, the product of ln pi and pi and ln pi is the important part. So I'm going to go with your instruction, which says to insert a couple columns. So next to each quadrat, I also don't like the word here, transect location. It's the location along the transect. So let's just change this. Location along transect. That's a little bit better, I think. Okay, so the location 1 meter. It doesn't matter that nothing's here. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to convert every single square here into an equation. But first, I need to insert some columns. 1, 2. Okay. So and also I'm going to just change the colors here so I can keep track of things here. This is going to be pi. This is ln pi. I think that's what we're going to do. The first thing is figuring out what pi is going to be. So I'm going to make this bigger. Okay. So what I could do is type in, this is what you won't do. This is the intuitive thing to do that will get you in trouble. You type equals. It's going to be the proportion, let's see, it's going to be this, whatever that is, divided by the sum of all these guys. All right, everything in your data set. And boom. It's a little bit of a, so nothing comes, it shows, we have a problem here because the answer is 0, which is true, that's a problem. What we really want to do is tell Excel, look, if there's a number in here, then do this operation. But if there's not a number in here, then leave it blank. And so we want Excel to do a logical operation, which is if this, then that. If not that, then something else. And that is the if command that is described in your directions, but I'll just do it for you here. Okay, let's see if I can do it. I'm actually going to cheat. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so you type if, and then the first statement, if, see, that is going to be B3. Cell B3 is great. Whoops. Oh. Okay. That means if B3 is greater than or less than 2, what are those marks? Whatever those quotation marks. So if B3 is greater than or less than whatever's inside those 2 marks, which is nothing, so in other words, I'm saying if what's in B3 is not nothing, if it's something, then I want it to be B3 divided by the sum of all this stuff. And end parentheses. Okay, so if there's something in there, do this mathematical operation, but otherwise, if there's nothing there, then leave nothing, 2 quotation marks. And parentheses, hit enter. Cool, that it did it. And we're just gonna check it. I'm just gonna, so it's in here, yep, there it is. So hit enter, and it did it. But I'm just gonna check it. What if there was something in there? What if there was a 1? Aha, it works. Coolio. Okay, so leave that blank. All right, cool. And so then I want it to, I don't want to write that equation, I don't know how many hundreds of times. I'm going to be doing the drag and drop equation copy thing. So I'm going to do this, but it's going to be an error because it copied it. It seemed to do the right thing, but click in here and you'll see that the red cells are no longer referring to the same column. It's updating the equation. It's thinking, oh, you want the whole column to shift down, and I do not want the whole column to shift down. So what I'm going to do is use the $ thingamabob to freeze the column. So I'm going to come back up here and let's see, I want to freeze B. No, I want to freeze the row. So that would be B $3 and B $31. And is there anything else I want frozen there? No, everything else I want updated. So in other words, when I go down to B4, I want it to refer to the contents of this cell. Okay, that should work. Let's make sure that's still working. I'm going to put in a 1 here. I'll put in a 2 this time. Yep, it works. And then I'm going to come down, and then I'll just check to see if it's doing what I want it to do. Yep. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to drag this all the way down to the bottom. Okay, cool. All right, that should work. And now I just want this to be, this cell here is the ln of this. Again, I think if you put in now, I just want to say 2 things before I go on. First, I don't know if you noticed my file names. These are junk files. I'm not going to save these files. I'm just doing them for you. When I did the percent median cover conversion, that was the very first file, and I got that all done, and it was good. And what I did then was A, I saved it. B, I saved it again with a new name. So I have a new file I'm messing with. And I do that often. I name this junk 2, and probably in a little while I'm going to save this file and then resave it as junk 3 and do something else on it. My strategy here is shit happens, and you make errors that are irretrievable, or your computer glitches on you. And so after I've done a big chunk of work that I'm confident in, I like to save that and not touch it anymore and then play with it in a new file. That way, if I have a disaster in the new one, I can go back to the old one and recover my thing. So you might think that you could do these back button, this back thing here. Sometimes that only goes so far, and so you often cannot retrieve a terminally damaged file. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to say. The next step is, so I got pi, ln pi. I need to sum pi and ln pi. Oh no, I got to multiply them by each other. Okay, so what? Do I have to put in a new one? You know what? I could have done this here. Oops. Get to the top. I could type in, I could make this pi times ln pi. I could do that, I think. If blah blah, then make it C3 times ln C3. That would be pi ln pi. So I'll do that. Likes it. Okay, and then I'll update that. Cool. So I just saved myself a step there. Cool. Let's go down to this again. And so I have pi ln pi for every cell in the first plot. And I can then sum it down below and negate it, which I can do right over here. So this is going to be H prime. H prime. Okay, and it's going to be here. So this is going to equal the sum of everything up here. Hit enter. Okay, 0, really? All right, yeah, sure. Okay, that, really? Even though I have 1 here? That's weird. It's probably a very small number. Not sure why that's just 1. Huh. I don't know. What if I put in some other numbers here? By the way, you know, not, there's an error here. Okay. That's weird. Okay, stop this. Ha! Paused it, fixed it. Not a problem. I don't really know why I thought I had a problem before. Whoop, hit escape. What happened was zeros were showing here, and I freaked out. But the thing is, Excel was rounding to the nearest whole number. But let's show some numbers here, and so some decimals. And so yeah, there's numbers in there. So let's come down to this. It's really weird. I don't know why that was acting weird before. Okay. Oh, the other thing is I made one mistake. It's not just the sum. It's the absolute value. So it's could be. It's actually supposed to multiply this by -1. Okay, equals -1 times that stuff. Put it in parentheses. Boom. Okay. So I think we're on our way. We have just figured out the H prime for the very first plot. Now here's where I start getting a little bit grouchy with your instructions. And also I think I will, or I have already posted a link to another video that shows you the same thing, exactly how to do this using the methods given. I think what you got to do next is insert a couple cells here, and then copy these commands, edit them, and redo them again, and then do that again and 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 again for all those transects. That seems like a pain in the ass to me. And then in the end, you're going to have this weird list of H and S's down here that are discontinuous. There's an easy way to fix it, but it's just extra work. There's another way to do this. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I just did was I just deleted all the work that I had just done. And I'm going to show you a different way to do it, which you're welcome to do or not do. What you do is first grab all the data. We're going to leave this data up here pristine and untouched. We're going to grab this, copy it, come back over here, and I skipped a couple lines, and I'm going to paste it in here. Just click in one cell and paste it there. Cool. And here what we're going to do is calculate, hold on, we're going to calculate pi, and I'm going to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for myself. So this block of data is just pi. And so what I'm going to do is replace all the cells here with an equation. Equals, okay, I got it. Make it big so you can see again what I'm doing, I hope. Whoa. Doesn't like that incomplete statement there, no problem. So if, now I'm going to refer to the cells up above. If this cell here, whoa. Oh, these are fake data. If that's, remind me, please, to delete the fake data I put in there to check what I was doing. If B3 is not 0, then leave it blank. Elsewise, elsewise make it, elsewise it's going to be the proportion, which is going to be this funny thing. It's going to be B3 divided by sum of these guys, right? Oh, where did it go? Mess it up. Sum, I guess I have to put parentheses here. Sum of all these guys. That's better. Elsewise, leave it blank. End parentheses, but remember I want to, what I'm going to do here is I am going to lock the rows, for reasons that will become obvious in a second, because I'm going to want the columns to change as I update the equation, as I drag it. Okay, and also, I think that is all. We'll see. Hit enter. Okay, I'm going to delete this data and it should be blank. Remember, that was phony data. I was just checking my equation, and cool. Oh, and these should also be blank. Okay, and my equation should be in here. There it is. I'm not getting any error there, so that's good, and it's blank. And so now, the whole point of doing this is so I can now drag this across everything, and Excel's kind of dumb. It will only let me drag a column or a row. So what I'm going to do here is just check it. I'm going to drag across this stuff here, and then I'm going to drag down here. And I'm going to click in here and see if it's doing the right thing. Click here, and it should be referring to that cell and the sum of that cell. It is. So this is super better. This is a really good way of doing this. Oops. Why did I do that? Oh, okay. So either way, I'm going to go down, copy everything down. Okay, and once I've done that, I can copy everything over all the way to the end. And look at all these wonderful numbers. That's great. Okay, I have, this is what is expected. It is working. I like it. I'm going to save this as junk 2. That's fine. Then I'm going to save it now. And then I'm going to save it as a new file. Save as junk 3. Junk 3. And save it. And now I can work on this one without messing up the former one. Okay, so this is pi. I'm going to copy the whole thing over again. Pi, not pi. Wild strawberry. Copy it. Go back to the beginning. This is the tedious part, but it's a lot less tedious than the other way, in my humble opinion. Paste it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know what? I think I need to paste as values. Let us go back and paste as values. Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, be tricky there. Yeah. Right, because I know why, but I don't want to explain. Okay, this is now going to be lnpi, and again, this is me leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for myself. Okay, so I know what this square is going to be. All these, this is just going to be equals, well, again, an if statement. Right, if this guy up here, I'll do it up here. If B3 is greater than equal to nothing, then ln, and I'll put it in parentheses, that, and elsewise leave it blank. Enter. Did it work? I hope so. Okay, and let's check. Looking pretty good. I guess the natural logarithm of 1 is 0. Okay, and so that's cool. So we reiterate this. I just want to say one thing at the top. Probably you know this. I just want to remind you, this is misleading. The species, this is the header for the column. These are not species. These are distances along the transect. Okay, then again, convert everything over here. Okay, at this point, I could save and open up a new file, but I'm feeling lucky, and so I'm not going to. And so the next thing is to multiply lnpi times pi, because the Shannon-Weaver index is negative of the sum of those two things multiplied by each other. So copy this all. Yes, tedious, but not as tedious as the other way. Makes for a big file. I don't care. Big files are fine. Copy this. I'm going to paste it as values. Paste as values. And okay, hit escape. Did it do it? Yes. And this is going to be P I times, I'll just do it, lnpi. Okay, and make this little, stand out, pop out there for us all. Okay, and so this is going to equal, this product of equals this, I do if statement, darn it, times this, but it's an if statement, if of that is looking good. So if it's blank, it's blank. If it's not blank, it's not blank. Checking it. Looking good. Hey. Nope. Really? Nope. Okay, again, do this. Oh. Highlight this whole column. Drag it all over. I now have, wow, we're so close to being done. Okay, cool. So now I have the product of pi and lnpi for every plot calculated, and the next part is to negate the sum of that. And so I'm going to do that right here, and that is the hi, and we're done with hi. It equals minus 1 times minus 1 times the sum of all these guys. I think that would work. Okay, so we have no diversity on the first plot. That's correct. How about over on 10? We got some diversity there. Okie dokie. So then drag that across and we're done. For the S, that's just that is just that there's a the number of species in each plot, and boy, you could go through each plot and just count any one number. So 1, 2, 3. There's 3 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Oh no, 3 right there. So you could do it that way, or you could let Excel do the work for you. I'm going to show you how in a sec. Okay, I remembered, or I looked up the count if command in Excel. I remember, just so you do a similar thing necessary if you ever find yourself in this place. I remember that the command was count, and hold on, and if you start typing in count, you see all the different possible options here. It turns out count is not the right one because that counts the numbers of cells in a range that contain numbers. I guess that would actually work. But I also did the count if. Oh yeah, because if there's blank cells, it was also, I don't know. The count if is a good one. It's the one that works for me. Maybe the count would work. I don't know. So the way it works is like this. I just learned something really cool about the count if command. Golly, there's something there. It should be counting it. Why isn't it counting it? It turns out that these aren't real numbers in there. Minus 0.16355 is not a real number. That is actually an equation. So this count if command really wants to see a number, not an equation. It's only going to count a number, not an equation. So what we can do, I know how to fix this. I'm going to refer to where there's a number. And I think, actually, let me just see. Is this a number? It is. So I'll just refer to those cells upstairs. So cool. So I'll go to the first one here. Count if, not this array, but instead, all the way at the top, this array. The raw data. Why not? Well, somewhat raw data. Okay. Hit enter to make sure it's executed, and then come down here and drag it over, see if it works. Yeah, it does. Hey, there's counts in here. What? Oh, there it is. Huh. What is that? Oh, I don't really know. Let's see if there's something in there. What? What the heck? What is that? Huh. So close to 0%. Was 100. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that. That looks weird to me. There's Ammophila arenaria in plot 6. Is there really? Yeah, there is. It comes down here in pi being 1. Pi ln pi. Oh, it gets converted to 0 there. That's interesting. Okay, not sure why that is. Anyway, we do get a count there. That's the only thing I'm concerned about now. Okay, so then I've got H and S, and I can pretty much, I should be able to just, I think, drag these over. I think I can. And now you've got, you're well on your way to doing the next part, which is actually addressing your hypothesis on whether the diversity of species is influenced by distance along supposed disturbance gradient. Okay, enough for this. We'll talk about the statistical analysis in the next video.